with us right now is Dr. William Schaffner, MD from Vanderbilt University Medical Center. He is an infectious disease expert. Dr. Schaffner, thank you for taking time with us.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Does everyone want to talk to you now?
Almost.
I mean, you're like the belle of the ball whenever
Yeah.
it comes to because this is what you are an expert in. I imagine your phone is blowing up.
Well, kind of. Yes, it's a busy time trying to get out the good information all about social distancing and how we have to stay away from each other so that the virus doesn't get from me to you or from you to me.
Okay, so let's just start with the questions. I love this guy, by the way, Dr. Schaffner.
awesome.
I love him. Are children asymptomatic?
A lot of children seem to be able to get this infection and not become ill, but we're beginning to think that they may be contagious and they can transmit the infection. How frequent this is still under study.
And everything is still under study a bit, right? Because this is such a new virus.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I say that whenever I answer any question.
Was there anything that you studied or have studied through the years that is similar to this where you're going, well, this is kind of the same, but not really?
Well, yes. When Zika first hit, we had to learn all about that. And back in 2009, we had an influenza pandemic, the so-called swine flu. And that one was paradoxical because it affected children more than older people. So whenever there's a new infection that comes along, we all have to figure out exactly who the infection is attacking specifically.
By the way, Dr. Schaffner is past president of the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases and has served on the executive board for the Infectious Diseases Society of America. Do you guys ever have like a getaway? Like all of you, all the infectious diseases experts?
Actually, there's an annual meeting when all these infectious disease docs are together. We all know each other. We're all friendly, but we avoid shaking hands. There's a lot of elbow bumps that goes on, and then people reach into their purses or their jacket pockets, and out comes the hand sanitizer. So it looks like a hand sanitizer convention.
And that's been happening before this. You guys have been kind of living by that for a while.
Oh, for ages, right. Yes.
Well, wearing surgical type rubber gloves while out, if I'm out doing stuff, will that help?
I don't think it'll help because then the gloves become like your hands, and they can become contaminated also. You know, when in the medical setting, when we use gloves, as soon as we take them off, we go to the sink and wash our hands.
So a lot of folks...
So hand hygiene is really the answer. Don't worry with the gloves. Just wash your hands a lot or use those hand hygiene products.
You talk about hands. I have a bunch of sanitizer, obviously. If I get to either wash my hands or sanitize, which one do I do?
Flip a coin, whichever one is more convenient. Don't obsess about those distinctions. Just do it frequently and thoroughly. Make sure you get the thumbs and the back of your hands, too.
If you're feeling sick at this stage, when do we call a doctor?
That is probably one of the most frequently asked questions. If you have fever and a cough, that's the key to call. And I emphasize calling your doctor or other healthcare provider. Don't just walk into the waiting room and give whatever you have to everybody else who's sitting there.
If you think that you're infected and you self-quarantine, or maybe even if you are, what is the distance, the length until normal life again, until you can go out? Like, what happens then?
It's very difficult because if you're self-quarantining, you don't know whether you have influenza or some other respiratory infection. So I think the general rule is unless you've been diagnosed with COVID, once you get completely better, you can go out. Make sure your temperature is down, wait for another day or so, and then I think you're okay to get back into the world.
You know, they have
But when I say into the world, in the present time, I mean 6 feet from everybody.
Yeah, which leads to my next question, 6 feet, social distancing. So why is it important to not be in a group of more than 10 people?
You know, it's simple numbers. we know that this infection is transmitted through close contact, right? Within 6 feet, I breathe out the virus, and if you're close in, you breathe in, and you may get some of my virus along with the air that you breathe in. So we want to keep separated. The more people we contact, the more likely it is we'll find someone who's got COVID. So the notion is stay away from groups because there are a lot of people there, and the chances are greater than that someone will be there who's got COVID and could give it to you.
Is it possible, because I keep hearing these stories about if it gets warmer, there's a chance that the virus dies. I hear you making noise. Like, tell me your thoughts on this.
So, we know that COVID is a respiratory virus, and so is flu. And flu and other winter respiratory viruses get better. That is, they kind of go away once the temperature gets warm. Now, has this new virus read the textbook, and does it know it's supposed to do that? Well, we don't know that yet. So perhaps this virus will act that way and kind of go away during our spring and summer, but maybe it didn't read the text and doesn't know it's going to do that, and it's going to continue. It's one of those things where I have to say, we'll wait and see.
I guess that's the thing with this, because it hasn't existed. We're waiting and seeing on a lot of this stuff. A lot of my listeners are reaching out asking, should they go and get things like their biannual mammogram or their dental cleaning or their heart doctor appointment, things like that?
Oh, the question is, how essential is that visit? The regular tooth cleaning, I would put that off. If it's a routine visit like the mammogram, unless, of course, it's a mammogram on indication, if someone's felt a lump or something like that, then I would put the routine, non-essential visits off for a while. But if you have to see the doctor for something specific, then, of course, go ahead.
Dr. William Schaffner, MD from Vanderbilt University Medical Center, an infectious disease expert, is on with us now. Eddie, what would you like to ask him?
Yeah, hey, Doc, I have a question about soap. I've seen a lot of grocery stores are out of antibacterial soap or just soap in general. Does it matter what kind of soap that you wash your hands with? Do you need a specific type?
Like dish soap?
Right. Does that work?
Everything works. Don't worry about the kind of soap. This virus will be picked up and killed by just any kind of soap or any household disinfectant. If you're being careful and disinfecting some of the surfaces in your house, use any household disinfectant. It will work.
I don't have a spleen, Doc. What?
Oh, yeah. Good question.
I had a surgery and they removed my spleen when I was a kid. I didn't even think about this. What's up with that?
Well, the fact that you've had your spleen out does make you more susceptible to certain bacterial infections, but not necessarily to COVID. Thank goodness.
Nice. So,
Good.
Cool. So I'm free to run around and do whatever I want.
Doctor, tell him no.
Yeah.
This is where you say no, Doc.
No.
Doctor say no.
Would you go to a restaurant, Dr. Schaffner, to pick up food with people making food?
Yes, I would still do that. The restaurants are spreading their tables farther apart. They're taking fewer reservations just so that people can be more distant. And certainly pickup and delivery works. And if you're judicious, going out with one other couple to the restaurant, I think that's still okay. We're not yet in a total lockdown circumstance. But don't hang out at a bar. They're closed anyway. But don't hang out in large groups for any extended period of time. Avoid those groups.
Well, we very much appreciate you talking to us, and we got listeners all over the country that are very appreciative of your time as well. I know you got a lot to do. So thank you so much for your time, and hope you have a great day today. And you're out changing the world, Doc.
Stay healthy, everybody. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
There he is.
Bye-bye.
Dr. William Schaffner, MD. He graduated from Yale in 1957. He attended the University of Freiburg, Germany as a Fulbright scholar, Cornell in 62. I just keep going, but he is the disease control guy.
Oh, wow.
He then commissioned, it's on and on. It's all the CDC stuff. He, like you said, he was president of the Infectious Disease Club.
Yeah.
Is that a
Yeah.
club? I don't know if it's a
That
club.
was so helpful.
Yeah, it was. I liked having him on. When I first got the email, though, that we had a phone call with him, I didn't read the whole thing. I just thought, oh, cool, William Shatner is coming on the show today.
Oh, William Schaffner.
But I mean, I didn't like, yeah, I just
William
glanced
Shatner.
at the email. So I was like,
Did you
okay,
guys
this
like
makes more sense.
How he said respiratory or
Respiratory. You can tell he knows
Respiratory.
more than us because he's using a
Oh,
saying it in a way.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, there you go. Appreciate that. And you know what? Like he says, wash your hands. And because of that, let's play it again. Here it is, the Raging Idiots. Wash your hands here on the Bobby Bones Show.